Hello, everyone. We are back for another Cells at Work review. We are reviewing episode 3, which came out this past weekend. My name is Jeff, and I am joined by Coby. Say hello, Coby.
Hello, Coby.
And Torie. Say hello, Torie.
Hello, Torie.
Perfect.
And we are Cells at Work.
Cells at Work with an exclamation point.
No, is it an exclamation point? Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're excited, because they're at work, they're doing stuff. 24 hours, 24/7, always, working. I started my sentence before I had a good punchline, but I had to commit.
You just went for it. I admire that. So this episode started unlike the other two episodes. The first two episodes started out with Red Blood Cell running around, not knowing what she's doing or where she's going, and with White Blood Cell coming to save the day. But this time we have what appears to be a character that looks like a killer T cell, but has naive written right across the hat. And he starts off as kind of like a zombie horror flick where he's wandering a dark city, and suddenly these zombies come out of nowhere and attack him. And that's where the differences end, because White Blood Cell comes in and saves the day.
He pops out of nowhere through, migration, I think that was called.
And he loses a shoe.
For no reason. Why did he lose his shoe?
Yeah, why would cells have shoes?
I think it's for comedic effect.
It was
Him losing
funny.
a shoe
I did
and
laugh.
cells having shoes.
Ha! Cells don't wear shoes. They don't have feet.
Or would that be representative in the real body?
Or do they?
Did he lose a piece of his cell?
Just a part of his cell. Just
Yeah.
left in the migration.
I do think cells have feet.
The
they're
science
little tiny
is still out on that. But yeah, White Blood Cell was awesome. He did what he did best and got his all white suit bloody as all hell again, because he just started ganking stuff.
He stabs. He's a stabby boy, and saves the killer T cell wannabe, which we learn is a naive T cell. And I shouldn't have doubted the show when I first saw that. I was like, okay, I guess the naive printed across his hat is just a description of his character. But no, it's a label of an actual scientific cell, I guess. And he is the main character of this episode. It's not Red Blood Cell, it's not White Blood Cell. This is the story of the naive killer.
Which is interesting, because then you have the question is, are you okay with following different segments of people of in this body? Because then it turns not into just a White Blood Cell, Red Blood Cell romance-esque anime where both of them do stuff. We're actually getting different stories focused on different parts of the cell with new characters seemingly a lot of the time.
Well, it makes the most sense. From after the last episode, I was thinking, how the heck could they make every story be about red blood cells and white blood cells? They only do a certain amount of things in your body, and they can't be everywhere in the story. So I'm pretty sure there'll be new perspectives. And there's a lot of people in the opening segments, like a lot of people that we haven't seen yet. So I'm pretty sure they will be focused at some point or another.
Hopefully
But
so.
That's important. Yeah, I agree.
We are also introduced to macrophage, which is the best cell of the show. Best girl above Red Blood Cell. I'm saying
Hands
it
down.
here.
Agreed. No, I'm behind you.
Kobe's right there. He's with me. What do you think, Tori?
And she's pretty hot.
That's not why she's.
That's
the
not
best
why
cell,
she. Oh
Tori.
my God!
It's not always about the genuine anime titty, okay? All right.
the GAT.
It's
not all about that.
The GAT.
The gat.
It's about her ability to slice villains horribly with a smile on her face.
And with what appears to be a maid outfit?
Like a night maid, like a nightgown maid.
Yeah.
And with a giant, cleaver.
Cleaver, yeah. Maybe not so much maid. She looks like someone that would churn butter back in the day.
In the day. She's a butter churner. And
When
this
churning butter,
highlights what I think this show does best. When it's a mixture and a blend between really silly, cutesy moments and just kind of horrifying, elements about just the murdering and killing and blood splattering everywhere.
It is very gory. It's not your Saturday morning educational TV show like I once thought it was going to be. It is that plus lots of murder.
But it totally should
murder.
be. They should totally show this in biology classes, because I learned so much about T cells.
They have?
No,
Think so?
I'm just saying.
Oh.
I'm just saying. They already have, man.
This is part of the Japanese biology curriculum. They just show this TV show.
Dude, it totally should. I learned so much about macrophages and T cells and dendrites and how they, all their roles and everything. And the B cell, I think, who makes antibodies and how influenza infects the body and how like a different strand of influenza is stronger. All cool stuff.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to learn things for sure. It'll make you remember things a lot easier than just reading bland things off a textbook. Like characterizing these things is a great way to memorize what these certain things do.
Like how dare you, show, for trying to teach me something, but it's because I refuse to learn anything, but it's making me.
I wish they would anthropomorphize like everything. Like imagine numbers at work. Ooh.
Oh, and I learned math finally?
Yeah, calculus and shit.
Calculus at work. Man, I bet they could. I would trust these creators.
So, anyways, the rest of the killer T cells, they show up and they basically berate the naive T cell for not standing up for himself and doing what he's supposed to do, which is murder the influenza cells with great style, finesse, panache, and goriness. In response to this, naive cell runs away like a little bitch and finds himself at the dendrites looking for advice. He gets some motivation, a bit of a pickup. He's reminded by the dendrite cell that not all the killer T cells, well, actually, no, every killer T cell started out where he was, as a naive cell. And that gives him the inspiration to do what I was hoping he would do, which is evolve like a Pokemon.
Yeah, he totally did. He turned into All Might.
He turned into
he did with the hair.
All Might Cell, and not only that, he multiplied himself. So now there's a whole army of these guys, basically. So there's your character development that you've always wanted, Coby, right there.
That was right there. From zero to hero, he went from Hercules to Huncules.
He started as Hercules?
He was Hercules. He was scrawny Hercules. Hercules at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. I get you.
And then he became Hunky Hercules.
Hunky Herc.
Hunky Herc.
Hunk Herc.
Yeah, and I loved how he didn't have a weapon. He just beat the shit out of influenza.
Usually they have like knives, but yeah, he just punched them. As you do. We also got introduced to, well, we not so much introduced, but we got to see Killer T Commander Cell momentarily again. He seems to be on break, and the Dendrite Cell relayed the information that macrophage cell gave to him. So he's definitely the leader, the tactician, the commander. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more into his life, because we do get a brief glimpse of what appears to be like an office setting. I don't really know what that one was supposed to represent. Was that like the immune system center or something?
It has to be, right?
Yeah,
like it's
not like the brain or anything, because it's not on top.
But I guess we'll find out later.
Right, and then basically they just beat the shit out of all the flu cells with the newfound power of the naive T cell.
And they had a really cool montage here where it just showed like them, like what the body does in response to fighting, sickness. That was my favorite part of this episode. Just is like decrease appetite levels, to stop it, and or cool the body temperature down, and start sneezing more to get them out. It's like that was all just really well done.
Yeah, me too. I really appreciate that they did that. They could have just stayed at the sort of the micro level and just shown all the legwork done by all the cells, but they actually zoomed out a bit and showed you all the little things that the body does when it's attacked by the flu. Like you said, sweating,
sweaty,
chills, decreasing appetite, making sure you're hydrated to do these things. I guess. Yeah, that was cool. It showed the larger scope of the world, which I think I love seeing, as well as the little micro scope of all the lives of the cells and such. So that was good.
Tori, what'd you think?
What did I think of what?
That's this whole the episode. Tell us what you think
of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
I thought the episode was boring.
What?
Ooh.
Dissenting opinion.
It focused on this naive T cell who was whiny and bitchy the whole time.
Not the whole time.
Pretty much the whole time, until he became beefy.
Half the time.
And it was
For 14 minutes of a 22 episode.
Yeah. long enough to where I was like, oh god, are we gonna follow? Like, I like white blood cell and red blood cell, and even though I knew they weren't going to be the main characters this whole show, but I personally like them as the main characters because I like them both.
Because they don't whine.
Yeah, it's just it was a very even though it's represented by cells, this whole storyline is very predictable, very standard. Lame guy crying, subordinates giving him heck, and then he somehow finds the knowledge to strengthen himself, and he goes and kicks butt.
But that's what makes it so great is that they tell that just same story, but like through the cells of science, through the lens of science, and in scientific explanation of a naive cell using a dendrite to morph and morph into a full-fledged T cell and kick ass.
Did you predict that he would evolve like Pokemon style?
I was not thinking that in my head. Didn't think he would evolve. I thought he would find the courage to, start ganking some stuff.
That's what I thought too.
But not turn into All
a
Might.
Gradual thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I predicted he would evolve into a Pokemon because, I figured his storyline was basically going to wrap up this episode, and I didn't really think that they would kind of carry him throughout the next several episodes, and we'd actually see his growth and stuff. But what gave me pause was when he was looking at the book with all the other killer T cells as naive T cells, and you kind of see like there's a point where like they're sitting at their desks but they're older, so like in their case it seemed like time progressed normally.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
But I'm glad that he just straight up transformed. Anyway, so you didn't like it because it's predictable. But what about the other two episodes? Weren't they kind of predictable? Because the white blood cell is gonna like win.
Okay,
right?
I guess this is what I've been realizing about this anime. Because in all honesty, it's an anime. First.
What?
It is an anime.
It is. Like these are all like what slice of lifey types of episodes, kind of like.
Yeah, there's not exactly a overarching story. For sure.
Yeah.
Unless maybe that's my question. Like I couldn't tell if that ending was a joke or if they were setting up that there's a big threat in this body.
Yeah, I don't know because it pretty much ended the way that any other episode ended because every other episode ended. Well, that's not true. I'd say
it ended with them thinking like, oh no, this is strand A because like someone this person who I think is female, by the way. I think that sneeze confirms that this is a girl. It sounded feminine, but It like they have like a rare strain of influenza, the one that starts epidemics, like the one that starts. So like I don't know what this girl was doing that got her like a new strand of pig flu, but it's like it sounded like it was bad. But then next episode is called food poisoning. So
yeah, so the way the first episode ended was kind of the same way. So they defeat the bacteria, and then new bacteria come in, and like business as usual. White blood cell goes back to defeating those bacteria. And so I think it was kind of in that same vein where it was like, we got rid of this threat, but here comes another threat. Like, the body's just constantly, fighting off threats.
Dealing with crap.
Dealing with shit left and right,
There's always another bacteria.
Yeah, there's always another influenza. But that is weird though. So, okay. So we've established that the average lifespan of a white blood cell is 13 to 20 days. So if we assume that all this is happening in the span of 13 to 20 days, at least within, I guess, if we assume that each episode's happening like a day, I mean, it could be possible that all happens in one day. So whoever this person is, they had some random bacteria. They got
a scrape and because they got lost because they were exploring.
And then they got flu, influenza type B, and then type A right afterwards. Although then I don't think it would take just a day to recover from a flu.
No, it was. Remember, they said it took a week for them.
Oh, okay. So he's almost dead. He's only got one more week, at most. Well, no, not most.
At least.
At least, yeah.
I have a feeling that he's gonna be fine.
or a lot of fucked up shit is going to happen to this person within a very short amount of time.
That's I would say like big sickness is going to come in, but then it's what we go back to. It's like this is a slice of life anime. There's probably not going to be any big sicknesses. I'm fine with case of the week ones every week. I think I've fully embraced that mindset where every week it's going to be a new type of sickness, and we learn about how the body reacts to it with very minimal growth between all these characters and just some hint of a romance between red blood cell and white blood cell. I'm happy with that.
And I think people who have either gone to school and remember all this stuff, or maybe they're going to med school, maybe they're going to college right now in biology, and they're like, hey, I remember that. Hey, this is cool. I'm learning. Or people who want to learn really enjoy this anime. But for everyone else, I kind of feel like it's just it's basically school with some cartoon characters.
But done so, I disagree. I'm someone who would hate this stuff in a classroom setting, but I'm digging it watching it.
Yeah, it's like Bill Nye the Science Guy, anime edition.
Oh, they need a Bill Nye cell. I need a Bill Nye cell to show up.
Bill Nye is a
say,
cell.
I think I would enjoy it more if they didn't just dump a whole bunch of information on me all the time. Every time that girl comes in, influenza, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, God, I could read it on the screen. Just show me a paragraph and then disappear. I don't want you to keep telling me over.
You want
over.
a paragraph to appear for a millisecond, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's so fast. No, I
Boom.
can't keep up with them. Whenever they flash the information and then they start talking at the same time, it's like I can't compute. My cells aren't working properly. My cells are not at work.
I want to enjoy this. I don't want to read or listen to you teach me all this crap. But I think even if I didn't know exactly what this cell did, I think I would be okay. I think I can kind of figure out what they're doing. So I don't need, a whole minute of you telling me exactly what it does.
So you want a version of the show where they just cut out all the explanations for all the cells, and you just kind of figure it out yourself?
Kind of. Or they do it in a much clever way. Kind of like, I don't know. In the last episode when the platelets just, they built that wall at the end to cover the scrape?
Mm-hmm.
They could have just said, oh, look, they're doing this and blah, blah, blah. They didn't have to go.
That's what they did.
No, because then they cut to the lady and she said, platelets, and upon receiving the virus, they tend to do this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like,
So just
I
cut out the lady.
Yeah, cut her out.
All right, lady, you're fired.
You out. All right,
But
so
that's-
this
but
is
that's
the
just my
moment
opinion.
where we start diverging. I'm sure reviews going forward. We were all on board the first 2 episodes, and now this is the split.
Torie's the first to go.
Just bring
It's
me
always the
back
first to
white
go.
blood cell and red blood cell. Okay?
That's
Bring it
fair.
on
If it
down.
boils down to that argument, that's fair because those two are they introduced on these first 2 episodes as great individual characters, and so it's natural that I want to see more of them. I was sad that we didn't get a lot of interaction between them, so I can see if this show turns into not red blood cell, white blood cell as it goes forward. I'll eventually turn to Tori's side. I don't think so, but who knows? Anything is possible.
Yeah, as for me, I don't expect much from this show. It's giving me what I want, which is light educational material and just light kind of monster of the week, action oriented with comedy kind of show. And that's what I'm into. I'm down for an easy watch. So if nothing comes through with white blood cell and red blood cell, I don't think I'd be too disappointed. But we'll see.
We'll
Who
see.
knows?
Yeah.
As next week we face food poisoning.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun,
I'm going to
dun.
hold it to so many high expectations.
You're gonna be the Roger Ebert of cells at work.
It's so funny. I don't get it.
Kobe, nah, fuck it. We won't tell her. It's fine.
Well, that wraps up our shows at work with a reference to Roger Ebert.
All right. Hopefully you guys liked it, especially that reference to Roger Ebert.
I hope you tuned in just for that reference itself.
All right. That was our cells at work review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm Jeff. Unless I don't know, Kobe. What do you want to do? You want to wrap this up? You wanna
Yeah.
plug stuff.
I would say it's like you're watching us on Nerd Plays. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. You can find a bunch of videos about us. We'd love to talk more about this show because all 3 of us just talk to each other and we hate each other. So we want to talk more with everybody else.
It's torture.
It's torture. It's the worst. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment.
Cool.
That's it.
That's it.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.